Have you ever seen a product like this in the supermarket? So all of these products contain baobab, and baobab is a tree that grows mainly in sub-Saharan Africa, in very dry regions, and it has been used for thousands of years by the local people. But what I want to investigate in my research is how does this plant, or products from this plant growing in the wild, used on subsistence, how does it get on international market? So if managed responsibly, wild foods like baobab can contribute to making our food systems a little bit more sustainable. So wild foods sometimes are more adapted to climate change, or they grow in areas where agricultural crops cannot grow, so they can be a livelihood opportunity for local people. But still, only very few wild foods actually make this transition. So that's why I looked at baobab as a case study and interviewed all the people who were involved in this development, making this jump from subsistence to international market ingredient, to try to understand which factors contribute to it. So for baobab, this transition was mainly a bottom-up approach, where a lot of actors came together across the whole world to push this development. And particularly two sets of people were important. On the one hand, entrepreneurs who started processing baobab, and on the other hand, development organizations. And together, they could overcome some of the main challenges in commercializing wild foods. So lack of finances was aided by the development organizations, and with this, a lot of knowledge could be generated. And this refers especially to quality. So if you transition from subsistence to targeting supermarkets, you need to fulfill a lot of quality standards for the food safety. And that's where the entrepreneurs then came in. So everything has to be done differently. How you process the fruit, they had to develop technologies for it, and the supply chain had to be organized differently. And they worked in trial and error, worked out how this can be done for the case of baobab. Another factor which was really important, aiding this transition, was the fact that these actors, they collaborated together quite closely. So the knowledge that people could generate, that was spread quite widely, so more people could take it up and help develop the sector as a whole, make it grow even larger. And finally, also, right from the start, efforts were put into creating demand, which is another really often an inhibiting factor in commercializing wild foods. Because initially in Europe, there was absolutely nobody knew baobab as a product, as a food ingredient, so a lot of efforts had to be put in to aid that. So nowadays, about several hundred tons of baobab fruit powder gets exported every year to international markets like in Europe or the US. And most of that is certified. It's certified organic or fair trade or fair wild, which is again due to this strong involvement of development organizations. So in the end, there are many factors and actors which are important for wild food resource like baobab to make this transition from subsistence to retail. There's just a lot more about it than one would initially think. If you're interested in this research we're doing here, you can also find more information below in the description to this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.